Is Kyle coaching up his offensive weapons enough anymore? There's a legitimate thing to talk about. Instead of just saying, Damon, Kyle, trash can emoji. The Seattle Seahawks had beaten the San Francisco 49ers with a horrendous defensive fourth quarter, a horrendous opportunity to get off the field several different times by this defense on the last drive of the game, and they could not do it. And the San Francisco 49ers just suffered the loss they really could not stand to suffer. How about this? The 49ers have walked all the way to the end of its devastating diving board, and the next loss that they can't afford to take will have officially pushed them off of it. 49ers got out-yarded by the Seahawks, 289 to 277. Wow. 131 rushing yards for the 49ers. In 8 penalties, 54 yards, but they won the time of possession. And the 49ers are a team that really cannot get out of their own way far too often in football games. There have been too many penalties, another special teams mistake, which really didn't haunt the Niners. But again, you had Jordan Mason trying to field a kickoff, went off his thigh. That ball could have bounced back to Seattle right there. And it's a level of not demanding that improve, which I do think starts creeping into the rest of the locker room. Now let's talk about what really lies ahead for the 49ers. Death and pestilence lies ahead for the 49ers because they're about to take 2 of the toughest road trips that you can find in back-to-back weeks. They're going to be going to Lambeau Field, then they're going to be going to Buffalo. The Niners now basically need to turn around and win both of those games after losing this one. And if they split, I guess there is, depending on what the Rams, Seahawks, and Cardinals do around them, there's going to be a chance to stay on a lead lap or just off the lead lap. But we all now know what the Niners are looking at. They're going to have to win the NFC West to be a playoff team. And the chances of that happening today took a devastating blow from the odds. It is weird how when the 49ers need to kill clock and eat clock, they play a little too fast. And when they need to play a little fast, they don't play nearly fast enough. Not using Mason was criminal. Let me open up this box score, by the way, here. 2 carries, 13 yards. Isaac Guerendo, forgotten man. Christian McCaffrey is getting you 4.2. But that would almost suggest it's not quite the Christian McCaffrey that you're used to. So don't give up on Mason and Guerendo completely. Niners actually did a pretty decent job on DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, but Jackson Smith and Jigba ate them alive. 10 catches, 91 yards for Juwan Jennings. Again, 4 catches. That's the thing. You got 10 catches for one guy, then the next guy drops down to 4, which means you got nobody running patterns for Debo, 4 catches, 22 yards. Ricky Pearsall, targeted twice, no catches. Eric Saubert, 1 whole catch for 7 yards. That just ain't going to get it done. Nick Sorensen, whatever the it is, doesn't seem to have it. And I'll tell you, Chris Kasurik used to have it as a defensive line coach where he would lay his hands on players and turn all of them into much better players. That isn't happening with as much routine or regularity as it used to. Again, Kyle hates rookie running backs. The fact that Pearsall and Cowing just cannot get involved is that there's a coaching blind spot. You want to talk to me? What are you most upset about? I don't know if there's a single call that Kyle made in this other than all of the practices since the day they were drafted to now that's not getting more out of these guys. Is Kyle coaching up his offensive weapons enough anymore? There's a legitimate thing to talk about that we could if we ask those types of questions instead of just saying, Damon, Kyle, trash can emoji. I mean, that's the funny thing. Like the Niners actually ran for 131 yards on 27 carries, a 4.9 average for the 49ers in the running game. But I hear you. It didn't feel effective. It didn't look effective. And clearly, when it's all said and done, for the results, it was not effective. Offensive penalties hurt us first and long. Yes, penalties, way too many penalties in play today. That is happening far too often. just undisciplined. And I guess you could say that is poorly coached football. You know, when your team is a penalty magnet, when they used to not be, but they're becoming that, it does make you wonder what exactly is going on. Again, when your team goes from leading the entire football world in yak yards to dead last in the NFL, it makes you wonder, what is going on? Why is that happening? No, plenty. I mean, that's it. You're the starting quarterback. You're the man. You get blamed. I don't know if he had a bad game, but no one could say he had a great game. 17 points today, that ain't good. Tech Dell again coming on in saying Kyle must be unpredictable. Debo in the backfield, CMC Mason in the slot. Something different, please. This offense depends on JJ's third downs. Yeah, where would they have been without JJ today? Juwan Jennings was the offense basically today. What separated the Niners from a win in this game was this much. I mean, just make one tackle of Geno on fourth down and you win the game. Just one tackle. One tackle on fourth down, you win the game. It's like the Super Bowl. One tackle on fourth down, you win the game. How are you not spying Geno Smith? And I don't know what plan the 49ers are going to put together, but it's going to need to be better than the one they put together today. Because without George Kittle, the 49ers offense was unimpressive. 17 points. That's not going to get it done. Are you ready to fire him at the end of the year? And if so, who is the replacement? Who is the next head coach of the 49ers? You can't just tell me to get rid of someone without offering up the who will be in next. I totally agree that there's no way that Kyle Shanahan is conceivably the only human being on earth that could do the job or do it well. But the truth is he's done the job better than what a lot of you want to admit. And for a team that hasn't won a Super Bowl in 30 years, you sure all act like you're entitled to a fucking Super Bowl every single time you roll out of bed, right? So if you are saying Kyle Shanahan is the worst coach in the NFL, the worst coach in the NFL is the third most successful coach in the history of one of the most successful franchises in the history of football. Again, at some point, logic starts needing to add up there, and that logic doesn't add up. Niners, you really blew it, and you are all out of wiggle room. From here on out, you got to be perfect. Are you ready to win your next 7 games in a row? Pretty much what you need to do. Let's see if you got it in you. I wouldn't be betting on it. Thanks for watching. Tune into the Damon Bruce Show live on YouTube every weekday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific.